So I'm not going to spend too much time right now introducing what we're doing, because I want to give the students a vast amount of our 2 hours together, because they have some incredible projects that they've come to share with you today. But just a little bit of an overview. So this is a new class created as part of a Farm and Food Systems initiative at GCC, wondering what could the college do to offer and respond to interests in local food production, as well as all other sorts of components of the local food system. And what are the educational offerings that GCC can provide to the community? And we've been spending the last year or so really taking inventory, listening, and responding with new course offerings and initiatives. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit today to Introduction to Food Systems, and just give you just a couple images so you can see the journey. So here we are. We took 7 different field trips to different sites of local food systems components around Greenfield, with the goal of assessing Greenfield's capacity to contribute to our regional food system. What are the assets? What are the voids? What are some innovative solutions to meet some case-specific functions like missing infrastructure or social change? So here we are at the CDC's Food Venture Center with John Waite on one of our field trips. Very sanitary with our caps on. Here we are in the stocking and packing room, where John is explaining to us the fudge that they make there from Harold's Ice Cream. Looking at the Farm to Institution project and doing some flash freezing of some peppers. Got Crystal here demoing our fudge. And the tons of apples that come in, the seconds that they're repurposing and turning into applesauce. And here we are actually in the commercial kitchen looking at the large-scale industrial equipment. And then we popped right next door. So Catalyst Kombucha grew out of the CDC and was incubated there. And Will Savitri gave us a fabulous tour of their brewery. So these are huge vats of kombucha. Again, even more, all of these mothers. We got to peek under there and look at them, and it was just amazing to see so much kombucha in one space. We're very focused on Will. He actually talked for an hour and a half straight, and nobody got tired. Everybody was engaged the entire hour and a half lecture with just Will. It was incredible. And then this is another field trip. We went down into the meadows in Greenfield to Kyle Bostrom's farm, where he has grass-fed meat. And he's explained to us rotational grazing, the difference between concentrated feedlots and pasture-raised pork and cattle. Some images of his cows here, which I just got his meat CSA, and it is incredible. Here's our lovely class out in the meadows, taking notes vigorously at the end of a long 4-hour field trip. And we also stopped at the Greenfield Farmers Market, and we talked with Devon from CISA. And the students had an assignment to go and talk with different food vendors and find out what are their practices, what are the challenges in our local economy for selling food, what are the prohibitions for getting into the farmers market. So we had a lot of really awesome conversations in the pouring rain, and everyone was just standing out there completely engaged. And just want to put a snapshot in. We had the USDA Deputy Secretary Kathleen Merrigan come and visit us at Greenfield Community College. We had 9 out of the 21 of our students came to her presentation, and we learned a whole bunch more about her new initiatives that she's bringing to DC to help support local food. And then right here in this space, about 6 or 7 weeks ago, we had our stakeholder charrette, where the students presented their findings of the assets and voids of Greenfield's food system. And then we facilitated breakout groups, and students gathered goals and priorities and interesting case studies and things they hadn't thought of yet from the community. And we had, I think we had like 35 people come in addition to our class. And so that was really important input for these projects. So this is the work the students have done from October 13th to December 1st, which you're going to get to see today. And several of you, I believe, are there. So these are just some examples of their boards, and they gave some great presentations. And so here we have it today, 21 burgeoning food systems planners. And so Introduction to Food Systems is likely going to be a recurring course. And what we're planning on doing with this content is getting some of the students together from each of what we're calling their research pods and actually compiling information and creating a report that can be circulated throughout Greenfield, throughout the Valley and beyond, and particularly help feed information in Greenfield's master planning process that is slated to begin either summer or fall of 2012. And this is part of a larger initiative, as I mentioned. So we've created some new courses at GCC, and I have flyers on the back table next to the food. So we're launching our Reskilling series this spring, and that includes 4-season farming with Danny Botkin, organic gardening with Charlie Laurel, who's right here in the hallway, and beekeeping with Cliff Hatch. And these are 1-credit blended courses, and what that means is that you can take it for community education, you can also take it for college credit. And then lastly, permaculture design is a new 4-credit science lab I'll be teaching this spring. And right now we have 17 students signed up. We only have 22 slots, so if you're interested, sign on up. And we're going to be looking at productive perennial agricultural food systems, among many other things. So if you're interested in learning more about the Farm and Food Systems Initiative at GCC, you can visit this website. You can email me, and information is also on the flyers in the back of the room. So we're going to transition now, and the broad brush view is there's 7 different research pods. So we have cultivation, we have processing, distribution, waste management, policy, social change, and education. And so we're going to hear a 12-minute presentation from each of those pods. And then at the very end, we're going to hear some across-pod connections. And that's going to take us through until 5 o'clock.